Hey guys, what's up? Because nothing happening on my end. So I haven't made a video in forever, and that's mainly because I haven't read in forever. I haven't been reading much, and I feel so bad because I legitimately feel guilty for not reading. But I was in summer school all summer, so I couldn't really read, and I didn't have time. There was nothing I really wanted to read because all the things I wanted to read I didn't own, and I didn't have a school library to go to, and getting to the public library was just such a hassle because I don't have a ride because I can't drive and my parents are so busy, so I just didn't read. So I just feel like I legitimately need a reminder of why I read, and I feel like you guys should know why I read because everyone should know why everyone reads. So, um, this video is completely inspired by Pulled Banana Books. Her video on why she reads totally inspired me to do this, and literally none of this was on my own account, and I found her video and I watched it after not watching BookTube for over a month and a half. And so, yeah. And I'm sorry about the lighting and stuff, it's like literally 10:30 on a Friday night, but yeah. Without further ado, why I read. So, what I remember reading when I was really, really little, we're talking the Terrible Twos stage. I started reading at the age of 2. I remember just reading little things like cereal boxes and simple stuff that you kind of just see everywhere, like Coke cans. I wouldn't just recognize the label, I would legitimately understand what it would say on the side. And I just remember reading and then growing into that and reading Cat in the Hat and short stories like that into reading more mature things like Ramona Quimby and all of that by the age of 6. I guess I always grew up around people who read books and who loved books because my mom was an English teacher for 10 years until she became an assistant principal. My grandfather was a huge reader. He was a history major in college. He went to law school. He read all his life, and my grandmother is such a huge reader. She still is till this day reading books and telling me about them and gets so excited talking about them, and it just makes me so happy when she talks about books because that means I get to talk about books and she listens and we both get excited, and I always grew up around people who read books, and I remember this. I distinctly remember one day walking into the living room in my house when I was maybe 5 or 6, and I remember seeing my grandfather sitting in a chair reading, and I asked him how many pages were in the book he was reading, and he said 800, and I said, "Oh wow, that's a lot." And now looking back, I'm 800 pages? Ha, that's nothing. Try reading 3 Cassandra Clare novels back to back. That's difficult. 800 pages? Haha, give me. So, thinking back, it's just, I always grew up around people who had positive influences with reading, and I used to go to a school that had we had AR, which was advanced reading and stuff, and you would read a book and you'd have to read it 3 times and then take a test over it. And I would read so many of the books so quickly that they actually had to get a whole new section for me. I was past the 10-15 page books that would take kids a week to read 3 times. I'd read it in about 15 minutes. I'd read it 3 times in 15 minutes. They had to go and legitimately get a whole section of thicker books just for me. They got me the whole Ramona Quimby series and the Judy Blume books, and they got me actual reading material, which I actually did have a difficult time reading for a while because that was such advanced stuff. I was in 1st grade, kindergarten and 1st grade, and they were giving me stuff that 3rd and 4th graders read. Back in 2nd grade, we had to take this test on our reading level. I was reading at a 5th or 6th grade level in 2nd grade. I was reading my brother's books for his book reports in middle school while I was still in elementary school. I just legitimately always remember just loving books, because I was never necessarily one of the smartest kids in my class. I mean, yes, I read, but I wasn't necessarily a good student. I didn't study. I didn't exactly, like, take notes well. I didn't exactly try hard. I wasn't a good test taker. I always got really, really nervous around tests. And then I read Harry Potter for the first time in 3rd grade. And when I read it, all I remember was saying, I want to be Hermione. She is so strong. She's so smart. I want to be her. And next thing you know, I'm actually trying in school. My grades are so much better. My standardized testing grades from 2nd grade to 3rd grade, such a huge margin. I went from barely passing those tests with 72s and 73s to getting high marks of 94, 95, all because I read Harry Potter. And now I'm in, like, AP classes, and I'm in, like, AP English, and I'm, like, analyzing things, and I'm, like, reading things that a lot of kids can't even imagine. Like, I'm reading 1984 as, like, a freshman for fun, and most kids won't even read that when they're required to read it for class, and I'm over here reading it because I want to. And I read To Kill a Mockingbird in 7th grade. We're not reading that till 2nd semester freshman year. And I'm reading all this, like, higher level stuff. Like, I've already read Romeo and Juliet, and I understand Romeo and Juliet. I've already read Julius Caesar. I've already read so much Shakespeare, and I just read a lot of higher level things, and I just read because I like it. I've just always found friendship in books, because I never necessarily had a group of friends. I was never that girl in school that always had a bunch of friends, because I was just never that kind of person. I was never the social butterfly, I guess. I just never really felt a need to make friends with other people. I spent most of my time in the library. Actually, all through elementary school, my best friend was the librarian, who till this day is still one of my good friends. Like, my high school is right down the street from my elementary school. If I wanted to, I could probably walk in and say, hey, can I go down to the library? Because everyone in the front office still knows me. And I could go down to the library. I still remember where everything is in that library. And I've been to the library, I think, like 3 times in the past 2 days at my new school and my high school, and the librarian already knows my name. She's already given me a bunch of information. She's already asking me if I finished the books I've checked out, and I've already gotten to tell her that I'm already over halfway through one, and I just legitimately fell back in love with books. And I read because I love it. It's my way of connecting with other people and other things and more abstract ideas that kids my age don't normally understand or can even comprehend. Most adults can't even understand the things that, like, young adults read today. They can't understand the abstract idea. Like, people read Hunger Games and think, oh, what a cute love triangle. It's like, you don't understand what it's trying to say. It's like, you don't see the meaning behind it. Like, you don't understand it. So it's just like, I read because I grew up around people who read. It was in my bones to read. I read because it's my way of knowing I'm not messed up and I can always grow, and even if I make mistakes, I can get past them and I can use those to my advantage, and that even if I don't know what I'm doing yet, I will eventually find that thing or that person or whatever it is, that higher power that will set my life into motion, and I will get to do whatever it means for the rest of my life. Like, I could suddenly become Clary Frey at the age of 15 and meet a shadow hunter and suddenly end up killing demons for the rest of my life. I mean, I know that's highly implausible and that's not going to happen, but I'm just trying to make a point. I'm trying to make the point that I can, like, anything at any time could happen with my life. And I know that I can make friends through books. Like, most of my friends are friends with me through Harry Potter and the Hunger Games and all of that. Like, I'm friends with people through that. That's how I made my friends that I have now, is through books and through reading and through TV shows and through music and through things that I love and things that have made me who I am today. And books are just a big part of that. We had to make collages in Spanish, and it was really funny because mine was just full of stuff from books and music and TV shows, and whenever I'd hand them off to people, because we had to like switch them to like talk about, like to ask each other questions and stuff, a lot of people were very overwhelmed, and I would look at theirs, and theirs would be like baseball players, hockey players, friends, musical instruments, sports, and I'm over here with like all this stuff that makes me me, because that's what makes me me, is the internet and books and music, and like all of that is part of who I am, and it shows who I genuinely am inside. And books are just books make me who I am. And without books, I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably be in like academic classes and not doing well. And if I didn't have books in my life, I genuinely don't know how I would understand who I am, because the more I read, the different personalities I pick up and the different ways I learn to think, and I grow as a person through the books I read. Like, from reading Harry Potter, I used to only want to be Hermione. I used to only think like Hermione. I used to do things only Hermione would do. And now when I read the Mortal Instrument series in like 6th grade, I was like, I want to be like Clary. I want to be brave. I want to be like out there. I kind of just want to do instead of think. And I want to add that to my Hermione, and I want to like, I add all these different character traits, leading character traits from these characters I love, and that's how I am the person I am today. The way that I'm totally sarcastic and funny is through like Jace and like Wolf and, you know, all these characters from all these different books. They've made my humor, they've made like the way I think about things, they've made the way that I treat other people, they've made the way that I allow other people to treat me. They've made me a stronger person, they've made me a better person, they've made me me, and I read because I want to continue discovering more of me. This got very, very, very long. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna actually edit this, but I think I'm just gonna leave it because I kind of like it like this. But I love you guys, and tell me down in the comments below, why do you read? Because I really want to know what led you to lead the life of book reading. Like, something has to happen in your life, or someone to make you want to read. So tell me that in the comments below, because I really want to know, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I love you guys so much, and